guys. We are back with another song by Eminem. And which one are we doing today?
Today we're doing Bad Husband. Do you know this?
Is that what you are? Just kidding. He's a good husband.
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's featuring ex-ambassadors. I don't know if you're familiar with that group or band.
Weren't they on another song with Eminem?
So
Didn't we just do
I
that?
believe the lead singer was on one of the songs,
I remember
think.
you like mentioning them.
Yeah, I think so. And Sam Harris, right? Is that what I was talking about? I don't know if that's the same band or not. Yeah, that was the guy's name.
Because that's the same name as like the neuroscientist.
Yeah. So anyway, this is track 10 off of Revival. This is his song where he makes amends to Kim.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't know if you recall hearing this or not ever.
I don't know.
All right, either way, we're gonna listen, break it down like we usually do. All right.
That's interesting that he made amends to his mom in a song before Kim.
Yeah, I guess the damage goes further back with her. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but it's just interesting. I don't know.
For sure. Sponsors.
Oh, right. I was just like, let's just go, whatever. So this video is sponsored by Chomps. Chomps is my favorite beef jerky ever. And it is all good for you ingredients. This is their free range turkey stick, which means that they're not feeding the turkeys any horrible garbage. They're having a free range diet. And it has no sugar in it. There's like not even 100 calories in here, and it's only good for you ingredients. Nothing you can't pronounce except for like cultured celery powder, coriander, lactic acid. Like those are the most foreign ingredients on this list. So that only shows you how great all the ingredients are. And it's absolutely delicious. So moist. Hate that word, but I can't think of another word to describe it. And delicious. And you can use our coupon code WithSmith for 10% off your order and an additional 10% off subscriptions. You should definitely get a subscription because you're going to want to eat them every single day. And then this is my other favorite meat snack. It's Carnivore Snacks. It is not a beef jerky though. It's like a dried meat snack. And it also is free range. This is the beef chuck, and there's only 2 ingredients. It's grass-fed beef chuck and Redmond real salt. And you can't get any better than just 2 ingredients, and it's so delicious. Like this stuff literally melts in your mouth. Like I don't even know. I don't know how they do this, but it's literally incredible and insanely delicious, and I highly recommend it. I like can't stop eating it. And you can use our coupon code for it's WithSmith right here, same one, for 15% off your order. And the link for that's in the description below. You can also use this coupon code WithSmith. That is just our coupon code for literally everything. And you can use that for SeatGeek. SeatGeek is a really great ticket website where you get tickets for concerts, sporting events, comedians, monster truck shows. I don't know, literally anything. They've got tickets for it. You should check out what's happening in your area. Links in the description below. And we actually used them before we were sponsored by them. And I love the fact that it's just an electronic ticket. We didn't need a paper ticket. I lose absolutely everything. So that was really, really convenient and definitely made the experience seamless. You can use our coupon code WithSmith for $20 off your very first purchase. And the link for that is in the description below. And check out our Amazon storefront, bunch of great stuff in there. Like and subscribe, follow us on social media channels if you'd like to. And that is it from me. So we can get back to the song.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah.
Bad Husband.
Get back to the song. I meant get to the song.
Back to the reaction video, I suppose.
Or start it.
Yeah. Here we go.
We never saw from each other's sides. For eye to eye, just eye for eye, lie for lie, fight or flight. So much baggage, need a luggage rack, but we carry on with our public spats and our feuds. Up, back in the news, love taps when I dissed you like it was fun. Actually used to run back to the booth, jump back in the studio, give you a tongue lashing in you. Laughed at the stomach tap with the tune. Stone, it was funny back in our youth, but then it wasn't after we knew that we were done and actually through. But if there's one fraction of truth, if it could be spun back, I would do so many things different. Cause it was such a dumbass excuse. You'd hit me once, and that I would use to continue the pattern of abuse. Why did I punch back? Girls, your dad is a scumbag. I'm confused because how come you can be a loyal loser? How come you can be a liar and a good father, good dad, but a bad husband? Why are you a good father, a great dad, but a bad husband?
All right.
So I like feel like I'm recognizing the chorus a little bit because, like you said, you did show me every single song on this album at one point, whether we listened to the whole song or just a little bit of it. So I
Yes.
recognize the chorus, but I don't really remember much else, and I don't even really know the words to the chorus either.
Yeah,
I just recognize like the vibe,
yeah,
the music.
he has a really unique voice, that
Yeah,
guy.
he does, and it's also like a little edited. It's not like
Yeah,
auto tune, or is it an auto tune? I don't know.
I'm
Sounds like
not
it a
sure.
bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Just trying to
But
look up.
yeah, that's crazy. Like I I mean, he would rap about like from going over all of his songs that we've gone over, like he would rap about them putting hands on each other, but I wasn't sure if that was like legit or if it was, just part of his like rap songs and stuff, but like
It sounds
it
like
kind of guess it was foolish for me to think it wasn't legit just based on their relationship and what we know about it.
maybe. I mean, it is hard to tell with him, but it does sound like it was mutually physical. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
So,
mean, I guess once one person starts, you just think it's okay.
yeah, it's no good.
No.
So the song starts off directly, Eminem. It's weird. On this album and his later albums, a lot of songs he just jumps right into it as soon as the track starts. There's no like intro,
Yeah,
there's no
it's
music
interesting.
really. I don't know why.
Mm.
I'm just noticing that. Okay, so he comes in first verse. He says, "We never saw from each other's sides or eye to eye, just eye for eye, lie for lie, fight or flight." So obviously from each other's sides, and the eye to eye is a play on like eye for eye. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Hammurabi's
And
code.
yeah, then he says it, and then lie for lie. Okay, then he does this cool thing. He says fight or flight, and then so much baggage, we need a luggage rack.
Which coincides with the flight because you have baggage on an airplane.
Yes, so there's this whole airplane scheme that continues. So the fight or flight is obviously they would either fight or they would like leave each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then there's so much baggage is all their history that they need
And
a
it's also like fight or flight that happens when you're like actually in a constant state of anxiety.
yeah,
And it's actually shown that this is like, I'm getting like kind of into my research here right now, but they've actually shown that couples who are really not meant to be with each other are in a constant state of fight or flight when they're together,
yeah, for sure.
which is really interesting.
Yeah. So then he continues with the luggage scheme and he says, but we carry on with our public spats. So carry on, like carry on
Oh,
luggage. With our public spats and our feuds up, back in the news. So then up is another like
oh,
airplane
like
scheme.
opening. Okay.
Yeah. But then the self-explanatory version is they were publicly fighting with each other, you know what I mean? And then they independently would be in the news, she was getting arrested, going to jail, all that stuff, suicide. Same thing with him, arrests. And he says, "Love taps when I dissed you like it was fun. Actually used to run back to the booth." So self-explanatory, all his diss songs. "Jump back in the studio, give you a tongue lashing, then you laughed at is it a stomach tat or the stomach tat? You have the
We have
lyrics
the
there, right?
lyrics here.
Left at the stomach tat with the tombstone. So he has like her name, and there's her name on a tombstone, I believe. There's the tattoo. So yeah, and apparently she laughed at it. It was funny back in our youth, so Kim even found it funny back then. But then it wasn't after we knew that we were done and actually through. So then yeah, they found that funny, but then when they were
Yeah.
really done, they're like, "Oh, this is actually kind of sad." But if there's one fraction of truth, if it could be spun back, I would do. So if he could redo things, so many things different because it was such a dumbass excuse. You hit me once, and that I would use to continue the pattern of abuse. Why did I punch back? Girls, your dad is a scumbag. I'm confused because. So this is interesting. I mean, he's just acknowledging the toxic relationship, right?
Yeah, and everything that they had like done to one another, like been through.
So he's doing a similar thing to in the song with his mom where he made amends, but not as hard. He seems to be cutting Kim a little bit more slack. He is acknowledging, like remember in Headlights he just talked about, oh yeah, you're still, you're abusive and I'm gonna love you from afar, right?
Yeah,
And he put out there still acknowledging all her wrongs. So he does this to a certain extent in this song, but to a much lesser degree, in my opinion.
yeah,
Because like here, he's acknowledging, he's like, you hit me once, and that I would use as the pattern of abuse. So he's kind of implying, he doesn't say it, but it kind of reads like she initiated the violence. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? And then
But it
he's
looks like it
saying,
was just once.
well, he's saying, oh, you do it once, and then I would go, And then he says, girls, your dad is a scumbag, which is interesting because yeah, everything he puts out, his children hear. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So he's in this song where he's making amends to Kim. He's speaking directly to his daughters, like, "Hey, I did this. Your father did this to your mother." And then he says, "I'm confused because
And it goes into the chorus, right?
yes." So it's I'm guessing they're British ex-ambassadors.
I don't know.
So the reason I think that is because they wrote this chorus, I believe, and how come you can be a lord and a loser? Like lord isn't an American thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that makes sense, unless they were just looking for an L word.
Yeah. How come you could be a lord and a loser? How come you could be a liar and a good father, a good dad, but a bad husband? Why are you a good father, a great dad, but a bad husband? So the lord and the loser is, a lord is a
They're
title.
like polar opposites.
Yeah, so in the UK it's a title, right? You're like
Like
high class, like kind of, you know what I mean?
extremely. Like you're like almost you're practically like you're like
Royalty,
associated with the
royals,
royals.
yeah.
Like you like are friends with them or whatever.
Yeah, so he's acknowledging like you could have this high status and still be a loser,
Yeah.
and then you could be a liar and a good father. So this is interesting. I actually would say I don't agree with this. I don't think you could be a bad husband and a good father. But since the context of this song is him and Kim already split, do you know what I
You can
mean?
be a bad husband and a good father. It just doesn't necessarily make you a good person all around.
If you are cheating on your spouse
Yeah,
and you have
you're
kids,
setting a bad
you're not,
example.
that's not
Yeah.
a good father doesn't do that, is my point. You know what I mean? Or a good
Yeah.
mother, saying either way. So,
Yeah.
but the context in this is him and Kim are already separated. Do you know what I mean? So he's not a husband right now. So like, yes, he's a bad husband, which is why he's not married anymore, but he's
Yeah.
still a father to his kids. So like in that context, it makes sense to me.
Completely like he's a good father now. Like I'm sure we can all agree like I mean we're in sobriety as well, so like we can like we have like the understanding, but when Eminem was in his addiction, like he was not being a good father. You literally couldn't be a good father when you're in your addiction. So I
Of
think you're
course.
right. He is talking about how he's a good father right now. So
Yeah.
like how could he have been a bad husband to her, but then how is he also a good father?
Yeah.
Is like how it really
Well, it's the
is.
context because I think he's also probably like thinking like, oh, I actually hit Kim. Like I don't hit my kids. I never did. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But like yeah, it's kind of the way I'm viewing the chorus. It's kind of it's like a deeper. That sounds so obnoxious. I'm just looking at it on another level because I'm sure the way he means it is like I was always very nice to my kids and I wasn't nice to
Well,
my
you know,
wife.
he
You know
like
what I mean?
loved them,
Yeah.
like took care of them and was
Yes.
there for them, but
Exactly.
just had his qualms with their mother.
Yes. All right. So that is where we left off. We will pick up here.
You were the beat I love, but the writer's block, the line that's hot that I forgot. We laughed a little, cried a lot. I never forget when you came home and you held Haley. Day before you went to jail and daily. How we'd wait for that mail lady or by the phone for mom to call. And I watched you pull yourself up and we decided on giving it one more try despite it all. You're my lightning rod, when my sky gets dark, I'm your shiny rocks in that tiny box. When we tied the knot, when we broke the knot, every line we crossed, we were supposed to not. Every time we fought, the insults to God, thrown too far. Words that we said that we didn't mean, the ones that we meant that we didn't say, the ones that we thought that we should have said, letters written that we could have read. which maybe would've led to some good instead and have this put to bed. But I'd be lying still if I said I wasn't sitting here asking myself, how come you can be a loyal loser? How come you can be a liar and a good father, a good dad, but a bad husband? Why are you a good father, a great dad, but a bad husband? You said forever be a hero in my life. I was just blind, but there's always another side to a good father, a great dad, but a bad husband.
And I will say, now that I just thought about it while we were just listening to that,
Mhm.
I do know someone whose father would cheat on their mother, and he's a good dad.
So
And
again,
like, you can't even fight me on that. Like, he is a good dad.
well, a good father wouldn't cheat, is my point.
I
If you
I
believe in
think you're like,
family,
but what
that's
if she doesn't know?
that doesn't make it any,
I
any
know it
better.
sounds so fucked up,
It's
but I
still
had
wrong.
heard from my parents that my friend's dad cheats on her
Yeah, that makes
mother,
you
and
you're a
she
bit.
doesn't
No,
know.
I get what you're saying. Like, if the kid doesn't know, or
Mhm.
even the wife doesn't know, like, how could it affect them? But it does. You know,
He's still a good father to
again, you're
her.
not hitting your kids. It's a different. That's why I was saying, like, I was like, oh, it's a kind of a deeper level. I do mean like morally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
If
Like,
she were to find out, it would like crush her.
plus, there's no way he's not sneaking around, lying. That's, you know what I mean? That's not something a good father does,
Hmm.
Okay. So he comes in the second verse. He says, "You were the beat I loved with," is it a writer's block? You have the lyrics pulled up there.
A writer's block.
With a, okay. So you're the beat I love with a writer's block. The line that's hot that I forgot. We laughed a little, cried a lot. I'll never forget when you came home and you held Haley day before you went to jail and daily. So it's interesting. He says, you were the beat I loved with the writer's block. So he loved this beat, but he couldn't think of anything to write. So
Hmm.
it's like something's, there's a disconnect there, right? And then the line that's hot that I forgot. So it's like they're like keep missing each other. Do you know what I
Yeah, like
mean?
it's just not
They're
working.
not
They're trying to make something work that just can't
exactly.
work.
Yeah. And then he says, we laughed a little, cried a lot. So there's a
It
little
was
bit of
more
that.
pain.
Exactly. And then he goes into the story is I'll never forget when you came home and you held Haley day before you went to jail and daily. So she did. She went to jail for a year. Um, and it says how we'd wait for that mail lady or by the phone for mom to call. So he's literally saying Kim went to jail. I think it was like he was like at the peak of his career. It's like 2004 or something like that. And they would either wait for the mail lady for a letter from Kim or they wait by the phone for her to call. And then he says, and I watched you pull yourself up, and we decided on giving it one more try. Despite it all, you're my lightning rod when my sky gets dark. So he watched her go from being in jail to like getting clean and getting her shit together. And then they were like, all right, let's give this one more shot. Because as I mentioned in a previous album, they got married again, I think in like maybe 2006. They weren't
Yeah.
married for too long. So he's talking about that and he's like, you're my lightning rod when the sky gets dark.
Aw.
So, but wait a second. I'm thinking about this analogy. You're my lightning rod when the sky gets dark.
You brighten up the sky.
So, but a lightning rod is the rod that goes in the ground.
Hmm. That the lightning hits.
Yeah.
So if the sky's dark, I mean, I guess it would also need to be raining and stormy, but dark, and then the lightning would hit the lightning rod and it like brings a spark back. Like it makes him happy. He made her happy.
So, but I don't know if this is. See, that's why I'm actually stopping on this line. I'm trying to understand it because is this like,
I'm
oh,
not completely familiar with the mechanics of a lightning
is
rod,
this
to be
the is
honest.
this equivalent to the line that's hot that he forgot the writer's block when the beat he loves is on? Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, I think it's saying like she brings the light to his darkness, even if just a little bit.
So I don't know because a lightning rod absorbs and takes the lightning. whatever. I know
But
we're
it
getting.
it attracts it. So like let's say you didn't have a lightning rod, like the lightning wouldn't hit exactly where you want it. Chances are it wouldn't even strike anywhere near you because like when have you ever seen it strike anywhere near you? So
Yeah,
you have the lightning rod because you're trying to attract it. So like it's this lightning rod, so it like brings the light. So it's like making them happy, I guess.
I suppose I'm not completely sure if it's what you're saying or if it's another like one of those like the ones he was doing before, like something's off, right?
I don't know.
So either way, he continues, I'm your shiny rocks in that tiny box when we tied the knot.
So he's the diamonds.
So
So he's
yes.
saying good things. So I think it's a good
So
thing.
it sounds like you're right. Then he says, when we broke the knot, every line we crossed, we were supposed to not. Every time we fought, the insults they got, thrown too far. So when
Mm,
they got divorced, they
yeah, it was rough.
crossed the line, calling each other's names. They went too far. Words that we said that we didn't mean, the words that we meant that we didn't say, the ones we thought we should have said, letters written that we could have read.
That's
So
sad.
it's all what if, woulda, coulda, shoulda,
Yeah.
shouldn't have done this, shoulda did this, could have done
Tupac
this.
has a quote for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Which one are you thinking?
Oh
I
God,
don't know
it's
if I
like
know it.
I'm gonna butcher it because I don't remember it word for word, but it's like it's like saying like shoulda, woulda, coulda, like all day long or whatever, or we could just leave the pieces where they are on the floor and move the fuck on. I
Yeah.
butchered that so bad. I'm sorry.
I'm sure there's many versions of that quote out there.
Yeah. Pretty sure that was Tupac.
I'm sure it was, but what I'm saying is like he might have got that from somewhere, you know what I mean, or put his twist
Yeah.
on it.
It's just reminded me of it.
Yeah. Then he can so it was letters written that we could have read, which maybe would have led to some good instead, and had this put to bed, but I'd be lying still if I said I wasn't sitting here asking myself. And then it goes back into the chorus, and then after the chorus, there's like this little extra part. It says a great dad but a bad husband. Um, forever You'll forever be a hero in my eyes. I reply, but there's always another side to a good father, a great dad, but a bad husband. So I actually do want to see something real quick about that. Because yeah, you hear the dad, which is like the Haley
Yeah.
sample from I don't know if that's Haley's song or My Dad's Gone Crazy, whatever
What
song it
song?
was. And it says, You said forever be a hero in my eyes, but there's always another side to a good father, a great dad. So yeah, it's just more of the same, you
Yeah.
know, that there's another side to the great dad, meaning bad shit. All right, we will pick it up here. We're gonna finish out this song.
We brought out the worst in each other. Someone had to make the sparring end, cause I loved you, but I hated that me, and I don't wanna see that side again. But I'm sorry, Kim, more than you could ever comprehend. Leaving you was fucking harder than sawing off a fucking body limb. Once upon a time, we're all we had. Maybe that's what drew us to each other. It was true love shit we never knew was possible. We might have loved each other too much, and maybe that's what made us do what we did to each other. All the screw ups, cause you always thought that you was more in love with me, and I was thinking I was more in love than you was. For all the times that we thought it worked, till we saw how wrong we were. When the dust settles now in all the dirt, if I touch the rawest nerve, all I want is for us not to hurt. And it's been an exhaustive search to find the words, but I just heard Mockingbird and got the urge to jot some verses and thoughts. The purpose was not to stir or open wounds. I've caused a few, and so have you, or argue whose fault it was. Partly yours, partly mine, but really no one's. This is so tough, I'm getting choked up. Oh fuck it, we both suck. We broke up, got back together. We both thought we had forever. Not bad people, just bad together. We were so nuts, backstabbed each other, another blow struck. But there's no ducking this blow, cause it's over and it's closure. But I'm not so sure how to close this. I just don't know how some people can be so good at one thing and so fucked at a whole nother shit. It's no wonder.
How come you can be a lord and a loser? How come you can be a liar and a good father? Good dad, but a bad husband. Why are you a good father, great dad, but a bad husband? Forever be a hero in my eyes. I reply, but there's always another side to a good father. great dad, but a bad husband.
All right.
It's like weirdly sad.
Oh, it's very sad. It's a very sad song.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally. It gives me the same type of feeling as Headlights. Headlights hit me more. You know what I mean? Because it's like his mom and stuff, and I feel like, I mean, that was like since he was a little kid. You know what I mean? So I don't know. For whatever reason, that one hits me more. But this is just as, sad
Yeah.
and serious stuff. So he comes in third, final verse. He says, "We brought out the worst in each other. Someone had to make the sparring end because I loved you, but I hated that me. And I don't want to see that side again, but I'm sorry, Kim." So, yeah, toxic, always fighting.
Yeah.
And it's
Not
interesting. He
good.
says, "I loved you, but I hated that me." So he didn't like who he was when he was with her. You know what I mean? And then he says, "Sorry." More than you could ever comprehend. Leaving you was fucking harder than sewing off a fucking body limb. Once upon a time, were all we had. Maybe that's what drew us to each other. It was true love. So they only had each other, you know, that's what they loved about each other. Shit we never knew was possible. We might have loved each other too much, and maybe that's what made us do what we did to each other. All the screw ups, because you always thought that you was more in love with me. So yeah, so it's
That's
interesting.
so funny.
Um, but yeah, so maybe we loved each other too much. I mean, I don't know if I agree, but I get the sentiment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when you're in such a toxic relationship like that, it's more of just like an infatuation that you mistake for love.
Yeah,
It really
because
does feel like that though.
yeah,
I've
it's
been there when I was
passionate.
younger.
Yeah,
It's
it
not,
well because you feel so strongly, and you think, oh, that
yeah.
must be love because I feel
But really, you
so.
actually hate
I
them.
know.
And Eminem, you has actually like shown that. Like it's like
Yeah,
you kind of actually do hate them.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, you always thought that you was more in love with me, and I was thinking I was more in love than you was. For all the times that we thought it worked, till we saw how wrong we were. When the dust settles now, and all the dirt, if I touch the rawest nerve. So they both thought, oh, I love you more than you love me, which is crazy. So insecure.
Well,
Um,
no. Oh, yeah. If you're looking at it in like a bad, like a negative way.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like, oh, I know you don't love me as much as I love you. You know what I mean?
It's a crazy thing to say.
Yeah. And then they said they see how wrong, they are for each other, and then the dust settling and all the dirt. So he's saying, so he actually gets more into it there that he's not trying to open wounds, but he's acknowledging here it's for him and for her. He's saying like, oh, this is, tough. We're done, but this is still like
Yeah, like hard to
a
talk about
touchy
and like to
subject.
go there.
Exactly. It's if I touch the rawest nerve, all I want is for us not to hurt. And it's been an exhaustive search to find the words, but I just heard Mockingbird and got the urge to jot some verses and thoughts. The purpose was not to stir up or open wounds. So, yeah, he was thinking, so it's crazy. He's saying which I believe is probably true, he listened to Mockingbird, the song to
Yeah,
Haley, and I guess he feels bad about some of the things he said,
maybe.
and then he's like, oh, I gotta write something, and we're hearing what he's writing, and he's like, again, I'm not writing this just to open pick
Yeah,
scabs,
like
whatever.
not to like make you feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was, or open up wounds, I've caused a few, and so have you, or argue whose fault it was, partly yours, partly mine, but really no one's. This is so tough, I'm getting choked up, oh fuck, we both suck.
That's kind of
Yeah,
funny
it is. It's
to
very
throw in
funny.
there.
And it sounds like that's like something that she would like. You know what I mean? Based on
Yeah.
what we hear from their relationship.
Well, yeah, because it was probably like, well, you, and then like not you. It's like no, you. So it's
Yeah.
nice to see that it's like both of us.
Yeah, and like I think she'd find it funny the way we did because like he said she found it funny the tombstone tattoo.
Yeah.
Like she's like, him saying like, "Oh, we both suck." Which it sounds like is true, right? They both, did some stuff. Um and yeah, he's saying he's getting choked up. He says, we broke up, got back together. We both thought we had forever. Not bad people, just bad together. So that's very possible. They're just not
Yeah, well,
right.
that's always what it is. I mean, it's not like Eminem could never like be with someone else and actually have a functioning relationship. He totally could, and so could she. It's just you guys were not right for one another. It wasn't
Yeah, that's usually the case.
meant to be.
Although sometimes there are bad people, you know what I mean, that are in these relationships.
Well, yeah,
But
but
usually
it's
it's just
yeah,
normal.
it's just you just didn't work together and you kept forcing it, and that's what
Yeah.
happens.
It says, we were so nuts, backstabbed each other. Another blow struck, but there's no duck in this blow. So, self-explanatory. They're fucking each other over. But there's no duck in this blow because it's over and it's closure, but I'm not so sure how to close this. I just don't know how some people can be so good at one thing and so fucked at a whole nother shit. It's no wonder. So, yeah, he's saying even now the finality is, it's painful, it's a blow.
Yeah,
It's actually closure. So it's definitely closure in sense of his music career with her. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I feel like it was only fair. I feel it sucks for Kim and his mom that like this and Headlights were not as big as Cleaning Up My Closet or, Kim or, those songs. But the important thing is that he did it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And for the whole world to hear, he didn't just apologize. The same method that alerted the world of his problems with them, he used to let people know that he was sorry and stuff.
I feel like if I were them though, I would actually want like an actual like in-person apology as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did too,
Yeah.
you know. And then yeah, it's the same the chorus and then the song just ends.
Yeah.
All right. So, Bad Husband.
So it's sad. It's very good. The chorus is really nice, but it's nice that he went and did that and like made a whole apology song or like just a almost like an amends song because it's not necessarily completely an apology because he's just like you fucked up as much as I did. It's
Yeah.
more of like just almost making amends with her just like via song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, he's just like in Headlights. He didn't let them off the hook for things that they don't deserve to be let off the hook for, but
Yeah.
more so acknowledging like, okay, you did that, I did this. We're never going to forget about this, but we're going to move past this. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like in recovery, like you're when you go through the steps and you make amends to people, like you're not just going to say I'm sorry to someone. A lot of times your amends, the person's not going to be happy.
Yeah, of course.
Like it's not for them. It's for you.
Yeah, and you got to let go of the resentments, which I think he was
Yes.
trying to do with this.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I like this song. It's good. I do like the ex ambassadors.
Yeah, I like their
Um,
voice.
yeah. Again, I'm confused. I don't remember because you were like, oh, didn't we do another song? And we did, and I
Yeah,
believe,
right. That's why I don't think I ever heard of them before
but
you mentioned
I
them.
believe he went by his. I don't remember if he was listed as his solo name. Whatever. Either way, I like the way this song sounds. I think it's cool that he gave the world this song. You know what I mean? That it's full circle and he's making
For
amends,
sure.
acknowledging his wrongs and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Yeah, it was really good.
for sure.
But don't forget to check out Chomps, Carnivore Snacks, SeatGeek, our Amazon storefront. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
See you. Bye.
Bye.